Mercury and Malice. In a world of lies, love is the ultimate takeover, by Löwenstein. Chapter 7. Gilded Traps. The Ashford family estate loomed like a mausoleum, its marble floors echoing with centuries of quiet greed. Eleanor Ashford's stilettos clicked like a metronome as she circled Sophia in the grand parlour, the scent of gardenias and old money thick in the air. "A marriage licence," she spat, flinging the document onto a Louis XIV table. Easily annulled, especially when one party is indigent. Sophia sipped her tea, the porcelain thin as a threat. "Indigent? I've doubled your son's liquidity in 3 weeks." Charles Ashford chuckled, lighting a Cuban cigar. "Through luck? Or have you forgotten the SEC's interest in your methods?" Julian stormed in, his tie askew and fury blazing. "Enough. She stays." Eleanor's smile turned venomous. "Clarissa's lawyers are drafting a merger. Sign the annulment, or we'll leak your little wife's non-existent credentials to the press." Sophia set down her cup, the clink slicing through the tension. "Leak this instead." She slid a photo across the table. Eleanor and Clarissa's father at a Cayman bank. "Your offshore accounts look lovely in black and white." The room chilled. Julian's breath hitched. "You knew?" Eleanor lunged, but Sophia was already at the door. "Tick-tock, Mrs. Ashford. The Times loves a good morality tale." Downtown, at a dimly lit jazz bar, Julian gripped his whiskey like an anchor. "Why protect me?" Sophia spun her wedding ring, a cheap vending machine band around her finger. "You're useful. Your parents' empire crumbling is poetic." He leaned closer, his cedar scent cutting through the smoke. "And if I want more than useful?" Her pulse fluttered, but she smirked. "Careful, Ashford. Sentiment's worse than margin calls." The door burst open. Clarissa stood silhouetted against neon, her voice a poisoned dart. "Julian, darling, Daddy's cancelling Ashford's credit lines, unless you're unmarried by dawn." Sophia rose, smooth as a blade. "Tell Daddy his lithium smuggling operation's next on my list." Clarissa's composure cracked. "You'll regret this." "Already do." Sophia tossed cash on the bar. "I wanted a challenge." 3 a.m. at Ashford Capital. Julian paced his office, shadows hollowing his eyes. "They'll come for you now." Sophia hacked into Van Horn's servers, her screen a blur of code. "Let them. I've buried worse men than Ethan." He gripped her chair, spinning her to face him. "This isn't a game, isn't it?" She stood, her gaze level with his. "You want out? Tear up the contract." His jaw flexed. "No." The air crackled. Distant sirens wailed. "Why?" she whispered. He cupped her face, callous thumb grazing her cheek. "Because you're the only real thing in this hellscape." The kiss was wildfire, raw and reckless, bourbon and desperation. Sophia pulled back first, her voice unsteady. "This complicates things." Julian's grin was feral. "Good." The elevator dinged. Clarissa's henchman stepped out, a syringe glinting in his hand. Sophia sighed. Right on schedule. Julian shoved her behind him, but she was already moving. A stiletto heel jammed into the man's knee, a taser pressed to his throat. "Tell Clarissa," she hissed. "Her next shipment's already been rerouted to Interpol." The man fled. Julian stared. "Where'd you learn to do that?" "Finishing school." She smoothed her hair. "Pack a bag. We're hitting Van Horn's warehouse tonight." He laughed, wild and bright. "Remind me to marry you properly someday." "Dream bigger, Ashford." She tossed him a bulletproof vest. "We're bankrupting your parents next." Dawn streaked the sky as they crouched behind a shipping container, the harbour reeking of salt and diesel. Julian's shoulder brushed hers. "Still think I'm just useful?" Sophia's smirk softened. "Don't push your luck." A shout echoed. Guards circled. She gripped his hand. "Ready?" His fingers laced with hers. "With you?" "Always." They vanished into the shadows, the game escalating with every heartbeat. Next morning, headlines blared. Van Horn's warehouse raided. Billions in stolen goods seized. Clarissa's call came as Sophia dressed, her voice trembling. "You win. Call off the dogs." Sophia fastened her emerald pendant. "I don't stop. I end people." She hung up, Julian's reflection appearing in her mirror. "Coffee? And croissants." He kissed her neck. "We've got an empire to burn." Outside, Manhattan buzzed, oblivious to the storm brewing in a corner office, and the heiress who'd soon own it all.